Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. As you can see, I've worked more on lots of Magic Special Edition stuff, in this case on the Chaos Warrior Champion, the Beastmaster. I've done a lot more than two things, but this video only contains the first two I made, mainly because the video would have been a lot longer or faster, and I wanted to show you a bit more in detail. What I skipped is cutting off the changing of the full body suit that I usually use. So again, I used it, I cut it open to cut apart to the point where I only have this thong left for the Genesis 2 male, because in the game the hero is a male hero, always a male hero. And the next thing I did, I created this plaque, or this part, which will at some point become a girdle. And as you can see, or as I'm working, I actually forgot to give it a texture, which I noticed at this point. So I went back and gave both parts, the inner and the outer part, a texture. This is important because otherwise I would have had to give every part that I added a texture separately, and then fuse all these textures together. And I decided, no, I'm not that deep into what I'm doing here, so I went back. Another thing with the belt that I'm currently working on is, as you can see, I'm trying to fit it closely to the body, while not changing the shapes. So I could have tried, or I think actually at a point I tried to change these basic shapes, these basic quarters, but this got a problem in its own, because right there the human body, or the body of the model at least, has a very sharp turn inwards. So there's a bit of an empty space, and I wanted the belt that this is to be very close to the model. If you go back to the beginning, you can actually see that I enlarged the pixelated graphics of the in-game model a bit to have a better view of it, and the belt is not that good visible actually. So when I designed this, I took a bit of artistic liberty, as well as going with an educated guess of what it should look like. So this is basically the character is a barbarian beastmaster, so I went and looked into calling the barbarian and stuff, and let me inspire by what I found. So this is basically an idea of this. Yeah. I copy-pasted the other side of the girdle, or of the belt, and then I went for the centerpiece. And when I started this, I already knew I wanted to have a round centerpiece. This is what I thought I saw on the picture. So this is what I went with. And as you can see, I'm making a lot of use of the new connect function, and I even at some point gave it a hotkey so I could access it way easier. So thanks again at the person who pointed out that there's a hotkey editor in this software. It's been a great help to me. Yeah. I also edited the texture for the actual pants, as you can see, and this is basically, it wasn't that complex and that complicated. Next up is the harness on the chest, and again, I could have worked with the full body here, but I decided against it, mainly because I wanted to try out a few things, and I thought it would be actually easier to not use that, and I think I'm right with that, because I would have had to change a lot of stuff in a finished product, and also just play around with it. and change it to a point where we're just making it from scratch is easier. What you could have also glimpsed is that I have a part of the huntress stuff at the side, the claw that I gave her. This is actually not part of the design in the game. The Beastmaster, as far as I can tell, doesn't have these claws or these things. I decided to give it to him because I wanted both pictures to have a connection. I wanted to have a visual connection between them, and I thought, okay, the woman, the huntress, has these parts, these claws hanging around her neck in a chain or something, and I thought, okay, if I add them to the barbarian, to the warrior, then even someone who hadn't played the games, who doesn't know what this is about, can see the claws on both pictures and have a connection. So this is basically a bit of artistic liberty I took with it, because I also wanted this to be visible to people who don't play the game. So yeah, this is basically part of design. So when if you do design in any case, I would say, I'm not an expert obviously, but this is how I would do it. I would create visual cues where you can say, hey, okay, these characters have the same utility or have similar symbols, wear similar clothes, have the same kind of ornaments, so there will be a connection at some point. And this is how video games do it often, this is how illustrations do it often, and I went with the same idea. As you can see, I decided for the shoulder straps, for the leather straps, to actually give them thickness instead of adding an edge. This is because whenever I add edges, I have the option to put different bump maps, or also to put different opacity maps on the flat surface to give it different effects. I could make it sheer, I could make it lace, I could make it fishnet. I could so I can work with opacity better if it's a flat surface, and if it has thickness, this gets more complicated, a lot more complicated actually. So unless I do extremely detailed and extremely good UV maps, unless I put a lot of time into UV maps, having thick items, having items with a certain thickness, and then adding opacity is not a good idea. This will always look weird. This will always have effects that you don't want to. So this is actually why I use edges usually on clothing. For one, it's faster, and it's a lot less risky, I would say, because when you do thickness, you always have some, or you have a chance to get some weird effects. You will see that in a bit, where there's a point that is just moving randomly to somewhere where I don't want it to be. This should be in the front actually, and right there you can see it right there. This dot is just when I gave the whole object thickness, these dots were just moving out of the way for some reason. I don't know why it happens. It happens sometimes in Hexagon, but I mean, it's easily fixable, and in the finished render, in the finished object, you won't see it, but this happens sometimes. And if you don't use thickness while smoothing down stuff, it doesn't happen. So this is something, an avoidable thing. Don't wonder, because there will be a bit of a cut now. I actually had to go to work in between, and I did these basically before work and finished it after work. This is why there was a cut just now. Yeah. I added the beast claws, or beast tooth the fangs to the leather straps, because the hunters also wear them on her upper body. She wears it like a chain around not her neck, but from shoulder to shoulder. So I thought that he should also wear them on the top of the clothing. And he doesn't actually wear that much clothing, so he basically just have his weapon and shield and helmet and hair, which I will do another video about. Look forward to that in the next few days. And that's it actually for today. Last thing is the render, which comes up in a few seconds. So stay healthy, stay safe, and see you guys around.